This story is also from After the Ecstasy, The Laundry. It's a story of Nachiketa and the Lord of Death. It's about the true self, I amness, our eternal soul identity, some ways to describe it, and also the gift of disenchantment. Steadily facing the unknown. Nachiketa and the Lord of Death. One ancient teaching story from India tells of a young man, Nachiketa, and the way he came to stand face to face with death. After the death of several friends, Nachiketa felt the brevity of his life. He saw the shallowness that comes from worldly pursuits when these activities are divorced from spiritual understanding. The son of a rich merchant, he knew that the heart's happiness did not come from the amount of property he owned. This explains his reaction when his father was encouraged by the Brahmin priests of the community to make a grand donation to the temple in order to ensure himself a good rebirth in the afterlife. Nachiketa was appalled by the idea that virtue and merit could be purchased in a proud public display in the town center while everyone in the town looked on. The day arrived. I give my cattle, my gold, all of value to the priests of the temple, the father declared. All of value? Ha! Demanded Nachiketa, his son. What about me, your son? Publicly shamed and offended by these words, Nachiketa's father responded angrily, I will give you as well. I give you to death. Nachiketa's eyes blazed and he replied, I accept. Then he left. Nachiketa went to a remote spot in the deepest forest and sat, waiting for death to show himself. For 3 days and 3 nights, he sat there intent and motionless, determined to track down the white ox and look into its eyes, determined to face death in his spiritual quest. Sitting through hunger, pain, and exhaustion, Nachiketa came at last to the land of Yama, the king of death, also known as the keeper of accounts. There he was greeted by death's 3 assistants, pestilence, famine, and war, who explained that Lord Yama was away. He is out collecting rent. That's fine, said Nachiketa. I will wait. When death returned 3 days later, his assistants told him of this most unusual young man who had come seeking him. Humans who hear of the Lord of Death usually run the other way, but this young man had been waiting steadily for 3 days. Lord Yama went to Nachiketa. They greeted one another, and then the Lord of Death apologized for keeping him waiting. Welcome to my kingdom. I see you are a man intent on his journey. Alas, I have kept you waiting. I will make up for the 3 days you waited by offering you a boon. You may choose 3 blessings for your journey. You may choose 3 blessings for your journey. During the time of journeying and waiting, Nachiketa had entered the liminal space between worlds where truth is revealed. Now 3 blessings were offered. In this luminous state of mind, he recognized what he most needed to go on. The first boon Nachiketa requested was forgiveness for himself and all he had touched. Let my father look upon me with the same joy as the day I was born. Nachiketa knew that only by releasing his past, by reconciling with all that was incomplete in his heart, could he continue his journey. In asking forgiveness for himself, Nachiketa was also forgiving his father, for forgiveness must always travel in both directions. This is not a simple matter of will, nor is forgiveness always easy. To forgive may require us to open to a long process of outrage, sorrow, and grief. Forgiveness does not mean we condone the injustices of the past. We may vow, never again will I allow this to happen. In the end, rather, forgiveness is simply a letting go of past pain and hatred. Through its softening kindness, we free ourselves from blind repetition, from carrying the pain of the past into the future. To forgive means that we do not put another person out of our heart. As Nachiketa knew, he could not put his father out of his heart if he was to continue on his path with his full being. Reunion with life is the blessing granted by forgiveness, and the boon of forgiveness left Nachiketa's heart open and clear. Lord Yama looked at him directly and noted, "Your first boon was a wise one, Nachiketa. Now what will be your second? Speak." After a moment's silent reflection, Nachiketa spoke. "I ask the blessing of inner fire." Nachiketa knew that to succeed on his spiritual journey, he would need both ardor and courage to follow the path with his whole being. So Nachiketa asked for the strength to give himself fully to his quest. Inner fire is a wholehearted journey, spiritual passion, Shakti, a full aliveness of being. This necessary fire or fullness in initiation is not to be confused with ambition, striving, or grasping after a goal. It is not an effort to improve ourselves or to attain something special. In the boon of aliveness, Nachiketa did not ask to get to the end of an imagined journey, but to be fully where he was. It takes the energy of our entire presence to meet and tame the sacred ox. Again, Lord Yama honored Nachiketa's wisdom, blessing him with inner strength. Free from the restrictions of old conflict and filled now with the limitless energy of perseverance, Nachiketa had found much of what is necessary to pass through initiation. Finally, the Lord of Death asked Nachiketa to name his last boon. After reflecting, Nachiketa looked at Death and said, "I ask for that which is immortal." With some surprise, Death reminded this audacious young man that he had come to the last boon, and that he could choose anything. Lord Yama then conjured up visions of what Nachiketa might choose instead: a harem of beautiful maidens to travel with on his journey, a royal golden war chariot with the world's fastest steeds, a palace where Nachiketa could be king. Nachiketa viewed all of these and more. "Why not choose among these?" Death urged again. But Nachiketa was a determined youth, not easily led astray. Once we have seen the white ox, we know a flea circus for what it is. And so he questioned the visions. "Will not all of these things that you have shown me return soon enough to your own kingdom, Lord Yama?" The Lord of Death smiled at Nachiketa's understanding and answered, "Yes, it is true." "Then I ask to know that which is immortal." At this, Lord Yama said, I will grant your third boon." He handed Nachiketa a simple and yet extraordinary gift: a mirror. If you wish to find the secret of immortality, Nachiketa, I cannot help you more than this. You yourself must look directly into yourself. Then you must repeatedly ask yourself the greatest of all human questions: who am I? Look beyond your body and thoughts, Nachiketa. In this way, you will find what you seek. Whether it is enacted in an initiation or in meditation, we too must face Lord Yama. We must ask who it is that is born and dies. As Nachiketa gazed into the sacred mirror, he entered into the profound spiritual questioning that leads to the deathless. When everything he held was released and stripped away, a pure and timeless heart arose. Nachiketa was free.